Berry appears to be fully in support of Kendrick, which is understandable considering her turbulent past with Drake. Berry is among the few well-known figures who has the audacity to call Drake an oddball. It appears that Drake's perspective hasn't changed because she has recently been under fire, particularly in light of the unsettling accusations. Berry just came forward and revealed some extremely horrible things about Drake, which will make you shudder. Drake reportedly rejected Berry, pressuring him to enter a relationship by calling him creepy. Drake will never be able to overcome the impression that he is a weirdo, especially now that he is disclosing more personal information. Has he always secretly harbored a crush on her? If so, why does he handle black women in such a terrible way? Let's chat now. This drama with Drake has been really intense and frightening lately. Drake's situation is not looking favorable because people have seen his usual pattern and are surfacing old rumors about his previous obsessions with different women. On the internet, there is a lot of talk about Drake being exposed as a complete oddball, particularly in light of his horrible treatment of black women. When a woman rejects Drake, he turns into a resentful, small-time jerk who follows her about without any apparent reason. Supporters assert that the revival of the drama involving Drake and Halle Berry serves as the ideal example of Drake's actions. Drake follows the woman around like a devoted devotee, and he first treats her with such devotion. Illustration of the awful by Drake can be, as Kendrick warned us in before. For a few months now, Kendrick has been trying to tell us that Drake is possibly a weirdo in a PDF file. These new charges severely damage Drake's reputation. He has been doing this for so long because of his intricate past troubles with none other than Halle Berry. In case you missed it, Halle tried to embarrass Drake despite her strong objections to him using a suggestive picture of her as his cover art. Drake used to rave over Halle in public, which makes this even more uncomfortable. He'd lauded her in interviews, even when she was pregnant, and made odd comments about how awful it was that she wasn't available.
But now,
You seem to have a fixation with Halle Berry, but she's already
I do.
Regos and
Yeah. That was unfortunate.
would you really have, like, let's say she wasn't?
Yeah.
Would you seriously consider?
Like being with her?
Yeah.
100%.
Really?
Of course.
but unfortunately for Drake,
Drake, however, didn't feel the same way about her. Rather than take the rejection well, he decided to drag her in front of everyone. This is not an isolated incident. Drake has a history of acting in this manner. As evidenced by Rihanna Drake, his obsessive behavior toward women would reverse, and he would begin disparaging these women and their boyfriends when they made it clear that they had no desire in a committed relationship. He even brought up Rihanna. Serena Williams and Megan Thee Stallion are just two names on an unending list. Logicless babies into it, but things will only become worse. Recall how Kendrick Lamar publicly attacked Drake and his diss track Meet the Grams, implying that Drake's demise was necessary to grant these women a fulfilling life. Not content to stop there, Kendrick continued, saying both Drake and the predator Harvey Weinstein ought to serve out the remainder of their lives inside bars. There is a more sinister pattern here because Drake has done this so frequently that it almost seems as though he genuinely despises women. This goes beyond Drake's reputation as an oddball who denigrates women in his songs. Many rappers engage in such behavior.
like he really hates women.
We're not stupid. We all know what a picture like this is supposed to depict. Sliming the first black woman to win an Oscar sure is something. Like, that's some next level. From his Degrassi days, everything about Drake has always given me the ick. From making fun of Megan being shot, from trying to groom Millie Bobby Brown, from sliding into Billie's DM when she was like 15, 16 years old. Why does Drake still have a...
Is there a reason why women always flee from Drake after a brief interaction? I guess that has something to do with people saying he's eerie. Berry has never shown interest in Drake, but in interviews, Drake has made a point of acting like a Lovick puppy and complimenting Berry and other celebrities. Drake was more than just smitten with Halle Berry. During interviews, he referred to her as the woman of his dreams. In addition to declaring in his songs that he would be with her if she wasn't already with someone else, he made some extremely shady and kind of terrifying remarks about her. For example, in his 2013 verse on Migos Versus remix, he raps about taking a renowned girl somewhere where there are no paparazzi. There should have been some red flags raised by the statement, "No one could stop me from trying to give Halle Berry a baby," since it has a really uncomfortable vibe. Drake is hardly the only celebrity who exudes a certain feel-good crush on Berry due to the long-standing industry crush on her. A lot of celebrities have tried to get in touch with her, and rappers have mentioned her in their songs. None of these famous singers boasted that they would never stop having children with Berry, even though some of them performed alluring tunes. Instead, the majority of them were polite. While it's one thing to sarcastically or slyly sing about how much you love a celebrity, this is ridiculous and only gets worse. It is understandable why he has been charged with degrading and hating black women on multiple occasions. Slime You Out, Drake's first single featuring SZA, was released in September of last year and was featured on his album For All the Dogs. Even worse, he was uninterested in Drake, which made him become even more offensive in his demeaning actions toward her. Before long, though, his shy manner made her uncomfortable again. Berry being slimed during the 2012 Nickelodeon Kids' Choice Awards was featured on the single cover. Slightly before we dive into why Drake's move ticked off Halle, there's this conspiracy theory you should know about. Some folks think Nickelodeon's slime gag is actually a humiliation ritual, with the slime symbolizing something pretty gross and degrading, if you know what I mean. And when you think about it, there's a shady history with Nickelodeon, like the numerous accusations of Sa, as well as the creepy behavior of Dan Schneider and all the allegations about what went on behind the scenes with young actors. So in that light, the whole slime thing feels really dark and unsettling. Anyway, when Drake dropped the cover art for Slime You Out featuring Halle Berry getting slimed at the Nickelodeon Kids' Choice Awards, he faced a ton of backlash. Fans were calling him a weirdo and criticizing him for that creepy line about wanting to give Halle a baby. But it wasn't just fans who were upset. Halle also called out Drake and explained why she was so angry about him using that specific photo. Halle shaded Drake on Instagram when she posted a cryptic Instagram message saying, "Sometimes you have to be the bigger guy even if you're a woman," but fans didn't have the whole picture and were puzzled about why Halle was so upset, which is unusual for her because y'all know that Halle just minds, especially on social media, and stays away from drama in her company. She still posted today because, in response to a comment about her photo being used by Drake for his song, "Hey," she said, "didn't get my permission. That's not cool. I thought better of him." But there was still drama to be had. Why are you upset? Even if I recognize that the image belongs to Getty Images and that he paid the required amount with their consent. When Drake asked, I said, "No, which is why you should ask if you plan to do what you want to do." Drake then replied, "It was not cool. That was the F you to me." Plenty of people didn't get it back then, but you did. Unwavering following this, Drake's supporters started to harass him, saying that he didn't need Getty's consent to use the picture as she owned it. Drake then explained, her attorneys would have surely seized the photos if she had, especially after Drake had feigned to ask for her permission. She was making a lot of noise about how strange and impolite it was. We might not be talking about this incident if Drake apologized and it was isolated, but let's be real. Drake has a history of acting disrespectfully and creepily toward the women he publicly obsesses over. We shouldn't be shocked when, for example, he abruptly and unceremoniously disparages Megan Thee Stallion, accusing her of "I acknowledge the complexity of the situation," as well as the belief held by some that Megan was fabricating the account of her shooting by Tory in order to undermine a strong guy. They found pieces of a bullet in Megan's leg, indeed. For one thing, most people in the company knew better than to publicly voice their opinion that Megan was lying, mostly because it would have made them look incredibly heartless. And why would anyone want to add to the harsh abuse that Megan was already receiving on social media? Whenever she made a declaration or did something. On his song Ciro Loco with 21 Savage, Drake made a pretty strange comment about Megan, saying, "She's still a stallion, but this bee lies about getting shots." Thoughtlessly declaring her graduation, she doesn't even get the joke. To play the first tune on your record, she doesn't know enough. Despite her initial attempts to shield Tor, there was always someone in the comments who accused her of wanting to ruin his life or driving her for reporting something to the authorities. Knowing from what I'd heard so far that he had no prior history of animosity or conflict, I found it really strange that he was pursuing Megan in that manner.
Even though Megan was the victim, Drake only pursued her because he disliked black women and wanted to humiliate her, not because he was defending a close friend, according to Megan's opinion. In addition, his attack on her was completely irrational and odd. Drake didn't really care about the outcome. All that mattered to him was Megan failing and you winning. Megan accused him on social media of being a hater because, as we all know, she isn't the type to ignore a problem like this. Additionally, she made fun of Drake, saying, "I know I'm big, but you guys need to quit putting my name in bars with flimsy conspiracy theories, LEL ninjas, and never talk to me or our me with a fact or receipt I'm obstructing. Continue sucking my." She also uttered the words, "Stop using my shooting as leverage, lame men. Since when is that cool? To laugh at the shooting of women? If a black woman says one of you homeboys her, you men, rap men in particular, are quick to criticize and boycott for shoes and clothing, but you guys dogpile on her." We just didn't connect the dots at that point, but she was already making indications that Drake despises black women back in 2022. She said, "And when the effing facts come out, remember all y'all favorite rappers that stood behind a man who shot a female person and attacked me. Y'all go up for it. I defend myself now. It never ends, and this did not happen until I came out and said, I got shot. Y'all don't mess with me, okay? Cool fit bye," said Megan Drake. Talk about a big hater. He not only dismissed her college degree by saying that she didn't learn anything there, but he also suggested that she was lying about the Tory situation. Sensations at the age of 26, Drake was the only one to graduate from school in 2012 after leaving early to concentrate on his burgeoning profession. Megan completed her high school education and balanced her career, getting a Bachelor of Science in Health Administration in 2021, despite the fact that balancing work and school can certainly be difficult. While Drake certainly has his share of life's hardships, it's still an odd way to downplay the accomplishments of someone who went to college by making fun of her. I don't want to belittle her for this. Farewell, but Drake's remarks on black women online go beyond this. And for Rihanna, he did the same. Incredibly, Drake and Rihanna were formerly close friends and worked together on hits like Take Care of Business, What's My Name, and don't even get me started on his weird speech at the VMS in 2016, in which he publicly declared his love for Rihanna.
Right? But Kendrick didn't stop there. He went on to compare Drake to convicted predator Harvey Weinstein, saying they both deserve to rot in prison for life. So this isn't just about Drake being a weirdo who disrespects women in his songs. Plenty of rappers do that. There's a deeper, more disturbing pattern here, since he has done this so many times that it kinda seems
Mexican. When Drake appeared in public with Rihanna, I was mortified to see him behave so dapperly. All of this, though, was undoubtedly motivated by his desire for her to date him and his crush on her, as we now know. After he cheated on her, he tried to win her over for years, damaging everything. And when it didn't work out, Rihanna wasn't going to put up with that. Drake acted inappropriately after she abandoned him, showing signs of overattachment rather than the gentlemanly acceptance of responsibility for his actions. That was then salty, and he started making fun of her and her partner. Rocky ridiculed her in his song, Fear of Heights, claiming that their level of intimacy was modest. Nevertheless, his comment, "Why do they make it sound like I'm still hung up on you?" really got folks talking. I would never be able to do that. Gold cannot demolish me more thoroughly than I can. That's not me. I oppose. It's true that there was mediocre intimacy with you.
Yes, I'm against it because of what happened to me with you. Let me introduce myself. I'm Auntie, as in your father's sister, Auntie, like a family photo, and I had a much better B than you. Everyone, go on a vacation. You guys should believe me when I say that Antilles is involved with Rihanna living in this man's skull. In his feud with Kendrick Chile, he even included A$AP Rocky, Rihanna's partner. Rake, I'm talking ish again, gassed. Do the math on who I was hitting, ninja. Then I don't even know you rap still because they were just talking about your fit again, he continued. Before considering dropping anything again, you most likely need to have another child. Although it's mid again smoking, they don't say you should have modeled even when you do drop. Fling asked Fenty, you should have tried to get it in first. Should this prove to be a prudent choice, we could endlessly discuss how he has treated numerous women in this manner, including Serena Williams, or point out the overt bigotry directed at black women in his songs, but you get the cold shoulder. She'll even order you to walk away from the boy before you get your head split open again the next time you cuddle in that bed. The oddball will always lose to Drake. When women reject Drake, fans claim that he always comes out as haughty and finds it hard to accept it, if not immediately. All I know is that he used Berry's picture without her consent. There are accusations against the person in addition to the groomer's PDF files. It is my desire that everyone be aware that Halle Berry declined Drake's request for her assent to anything, and yet he did it nonetheless. Drake releases this bullshit because he is so irritating. I appreciate and admire black women, even though it's usually awkward. Even if Drake is quite embarrassed by this, you are welcome to watch the video and leave your comments below. His acts, which included telling Rihanna in person that he loves her during an awards show, getting a big tattoo of Sage's face, and now using this Halle Berry pic to interrupt Chile.